As an international student in the USA, it's important to be familiar with your US tax filing obligations. In this video, we'll walk you through some of the main principles of non-resident tax to help make sure you stay tax compliant this season. Number 1, residency for tax purposes. It's important to determine your tax residency in the US so that you file the correct tax forms with the IRS. Generally, most international students and scholars who are on F, J, M, or Q visas are considered non-residents for tax purposes. International undergraduate students on J1 and F1 visas are automatically considered non-residents for their first 5 calendar years in the US, while scholars, researchers on J visas are automatically considered non-residents for 2 out of the last 6 calendar years in the US. If you've been in the US for longer than the 5 or 2 year periods, the substantial presence test will determine your tax residency, and you may become a resident for tax purposes if you pass this test. 2. Who must file tax forms for the 2018 tax season? If you are physically in the US in F or J status as a non-resident between January 1st and December 31st, 2018, you're obligated to send at least one Form 8843 to the IRS, even if you had no income. This form confirms your US presence under non-resident status to the IRS for that tax year. For the 2018 tax season, if you've earned $1 of US source income or greater, you may need to file a federal tax return with the IRS, either being the Form 1040-NR or the 1040-NR-EZ. Depending on your individual circumstances, you may also need to file a state tax return, and state tax forms will differ from state to state. Number 3, income documents you might receive. If you were working or were in receipt of US source income during the calendar year, you will likely receive an income document at the end of the tax year that will outline the total income you received and the tax that was withheld from that income. You'll need these documents when filing your tax return. These are the 3 main income documents. First, the W-2 is the most common and outlines the total wages you've received during the year, as well as the tax withheld from that income. Next, the 1042-S is typically sent if you received some form of taxable scholarship from your school or institution, such as, for example, a stipend or a housing allowance. Finally, the 1099 is less common, but you may receive a 1099 if you receive rental income, investment income, or if you worked as an independent contractor. Number 4, tax filing deadline. The deadline to send your federal tax return is April 15th, 2019. State tax deadlines differ from state to state, but many also follow the same federal tax filing deadline. Don't wait until the last minute to file though, as you can file ahead of the April 15th deadline to save on some stress. Number 5, what you need when preparing your return. Here's a list of what you'll need before filing your tax return. First, your income documents. If you've received a W-2, 1042-S, 1099, or other income documents, you'll need this when preparing your tax return. Passport information. You will need details from your passport to assist with the tax return process. Next, your visa details. This will be your DS 2019 if you're a J visa holder, or your I-20 if you're an F visa holder. Your entry and exit dates in and out of the US will also be required. You can use I-94.gov to access a list of your recent visits in and out of the country. Also, your Social Security or I-TIN. If you're filing a federal return, you'll need to have a valid Social Security or individual taxpayer identification number to outline on your forms. It's important to know that you do not need a Social Security number or ITIN if you are only filing Form 8843. Number 6, how to file your tax return. If your school is teamed up with SprintTax, you will likely get an email from them providing you with your unique code, which will discount or either waive your federal and 8843 tax return preparation costs on SprintTax. You may receive also a unique link instead, which will automatically discount or waive your federal and 8843 tax return preparation costs on the system. If your school or institution has not implemented SprintTax, you can always visit www.sprinttax.com, where we can help you prepare your tax return online and ensure you're tax compliant for this filing season.